hi there and welcome to another edition of What's the Word. I'm Tom Malone and I'm joined by Brendan Duke, Mark Boylan and Shane Mann as well. Brendan, you've been elevated this week up to senior analyst status, moved up the pecking order.
Not before time, Tom, not before time. That David Jennings has been clipping my wings for far too long.
He's been holding you back.
Yes.
Right, a reminder as well, we have our competition once again, courtesy of Ladbrokes. So this week there's a €100 or pound free bet up for grabs. All you got to do is pick the biggest price winner in the comments section. Big well done as well to Adam Barr. He tipped up Hollybush Henry last weekend at Sandown at 5-1. So that was our biggest price winner in the comments. So well done to Adam. We'll be in touch. Christmas party season imminent. Speaking of absentees, you ever called in sick after the Christmas party, Brendan?
No, I haven't, because I think it's important. One of the great things a man can do in life is to know his limitations and also to communicate them to his line manager. So I was never asked to come in the day after a Christmas party.
Aware of your limitations.
Indeed.
Mark, not a problem for you?
My first taste of a Christmas party last night, so I can't really say I've dodged the bullet too much.
Shane?
Yeah, ours was last weekend, Tom, and thankfully I had the weekend off, so like Brendan, plan in advance and you'll be okay.
Good planning.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looking forward to Christmas. Any horses in particular you're looking forward to, Shane?
For me, it's going to be Disco, hopefully, with the run on the King George. I think he's around about 16-1 the last time I checked. He was pulled out of the John Durkin, one of the most exciting novices last season. So hopefully he runs with the big one on St. Stephen's Day.
Good stuff. Mark, any particular horses you're looking forward to?
There's two in particular now that I'm pretty sweet and I'm pretty excited about seeing. Real Steel is one of them. Willie Mullins is novice there. Kemp from France. And I know there's been a few Real Steels in recent times. He had one for Mouse Morris, a Japanese horse that won out in Dubai with Ryan Moore as well. But this one looks a bit special, I think. Beat Daily Tiger at third. It looks a real smart one. If he lines up in the future champions, I'd love to see him at Leopardstown. They don't want to be Super Sunday. He's 10-1 for the 3 mile Christmas hurdle there. And Nichols Canyon is 2s. You know, you're looking 5 times the price difference, and there was only 1 3/4 between them. Super Sunday will improve for the run too. I'm very sweet in the two of them.
Absolutely. Super Sunday, looking forward to that one running the Stairs hurdle most likely as well at Cheltenham. Brendan, your thoughts on the Christmas? Anything you're particularly looking forward to?
Well, my equine crush might bite, and speaking of crushing, I think he's going to take a wrecking ball to the 3 mile division this season, starting off in Kempton, and also purely from a financial point of view, Mona Lee runs in novice chase at Leopardstown, so I've him backed for the RSA, so I'd like to see him win.
Good stuff. Well, let's look forward to Saturday's racing action. We start at Cheltenham. We start with the international hurdle up at 3:05. It's a battle of the youngsters in the old brigade here, Shane. What are the prices?
Yeah, another small field, Tom, for this international hurdle. The new one, I think he's looking for his 4th international. I think he's currently 7-4 market leader. Mellon is at 9-4, 7-2 then My Tender Yours, 9-1 Old Guard, Chidabello 11-1, John Constable 22s, Del Arca 50-1.
Mark, do you have an old favourite in this race?
I'd be soft for the new one, but I'll tell you what, I'll bite the hand off you for 9-4 Mellon. I think this horse will take the world of it. I think that's a super price now. I'd be very, very sweet in Mellon, pardon the pun. The horse itself, you know, although Down Royal mightn't have blown you away, this horse has only had 4 starts over hurdles. The only 2 times he's beaten were both in Grade 1 company. This horse, I think, doesn't get the respect he deserves because people would have been emotionally attached to him, I think, and they still bear the scars of the whole Supreme Novices.
Well, he was one of those, you know, big punts, wasn't he?
He is much better than one of these hype horses makes out to be. You have to remember last year as well, prior to Cheltenham at the Willie Mullins press day, he was down there saying this horse is the champion hurdle horse next year. From my point of view, I look at him at 14-1 for the champion hurdle next year. I'm saying to myself, look, you've got Boover there and Faugheen. Apart from that, I could easily see him hitting the frame. And Faugheen, unfortunately, I'd absolutely love to see him there. But you know, in recent times, we've seen he hasn't made his assignments due to injury. So for me, I'd be looking to see Mellon go and do the business tomorrow. And then as well as that, you know, hit the frame maybe the champion at 14s. That'd be my sort of idea of where to invest a few pounds tomorrow.
Your thoughts on the international, Brendan?
Very interesting race, very interesting from a betting point of view. I have a feeling they're going to come from Mellon, the young horse. He's got a good profile and what have you. But the new one on his beloved new course, he's 4-5 on the new course. The only time he got beaten was in one of the hottest novice hurdles in the last 20 years. At Fisher's Cross won it, Coney Grieve was 3rd and Whisper was 4th.
That's okay.
Yeah, so he's a savage record on this track. I think he'll be able to jump out in front, soft ground, and the old dog for the hard road. Mellon, he's only had 4 runs. Will he have enough about him to get past the new one? I don't think so.
Just to say as well, he's a great record in Grade 2 company. I mean, outside of Grade 1 company, the top level, I think he's 17 from 19 wins or something like that. And as Brendan mentioned, he's a fantastic record at the track. So 7-4. Brendan mentioned that they might come from Elm. I can see them coming for the favourite, to be honest.
And Sam Twiston-Davies gets back as well in time. He's recovered sufficiently. Let's move on to the Caspian Caviar Gold Cup. That's upcoming 155. The first 6 home in the Bet Victor Gold Cup all reoppose here, slightly different weights. And that would, how do they bet?
Yeah, smaller fields than the Bet Victor, Tom, for the Caspian Caviar Gold Cup. 7-2 favourite. This is the horse they've been wanting all week. Clan de Zobo. Le President 11-2. Starkitect 6-1. 7-1. Then Ballyalton. And also 7-1 King's Odyssey. 10-1 Romanda Sanan. 10-1 Splash of Ginge. It's 12's bar.
Are you looking at that Bet Victor Gold Cup form line? Or are you looking elsewhere, Mark?
I think I'd take into account the Bet Victor Gold Cup form. Although the ground made a mess of it on that occasion, I think, and we're not going to have exactly perfect conditions either from that point of view on Saturday. Ballyalton is the one that stands out for me. He won the novice handicap chase at the festival off 140. He's 143 now. He's really lightly raced for a 10-year-old. More problems now than God knows what. But Ian Williams having a great time of things this season. For me, it'll come down to what way this turns out in terms of weather over the next day. If it's a case that it turns into a bog, Clan de Zobo is the obvious one. He has the form of Whisper, although maybe he wasn't cherry ripe on the day at Kempton. He stands out from that point of view. But if it was to clear up anyway there, Ballyalton for me at around the 8th mark, that makes very much sense to me. He definitely has still more to give it off 143.
Good stuff. Brendan, your thoughts on this Caspian Caviar Gold Cup?
I'm struggling to get away from the favourite, Tom. Try as I might.
Likewise, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can crib the form because it's a 2-runner race, and that Haydock, how many horses actually handle the ground. But I have to say, before Haydock, I was concerned about the ground for him because he's a really strong traveller. He's a good mover, but he handled it. There wasn't a bother on him. He's up to 155, which makes him the best horse in the race. Back the best horse in the race. Pretty sound strategy. He'll do for me.
Well, amongst a few conversations last night, David Jennings was particularly sweet to stress that Clan de Zobo was the one here. He was, so I'll make up for him not being here and saying what he'd be saying. Yeah.
He is his #1 fan.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
No doubt about that. Right, on to the Albert Bartlett trial. That's coming at 2:30. A couple of horses with really strong winning records at the moment here. Shane, how are they betting?
7-4 the favourite, Tom. Count Maribel 15-8. Then Equus Secretus. It's 4-1. Kilbricken Storm. Global Stage 13-2. And II Charlie 16-1. The outsider.
Mark, is it between the top 2 in the market for you here?
I know I'm going to go outside the top 2. I'm going to go Global Stage here for Fergal O'Brien. I think they threw him in at the deep end when they ran him in the Tallworth. He actually emerged from it pretty okay, but I think that could have kind of hampered the rest of his season and damaged him a little bit there. Freshened up nice and got a bit of confidence back to himself at Ayr there on his seasonal reappearance. Stepping up in trip, the furthest he'd gone before was an extended 2.5, but he's won a point to point over 3 miles on heavy. He'll get through it. It's a really tentative nod in the race. It's just very open, and I'd be disappointed if any of these, to be quite honest, were involved in the Albert Bartlett itself come March. It's a pretty standard enough race.
Brendan, your thoughts?
I like this Equus Secretus. As Mark says, it is a competitive race, and any number of them could step forward. But I really like that it's going to be a stamina test. He looks a dour stayer, this horse. Now, he's never run on soft ground, but he looks like he'll relish it. And he beat a decent horse the last day in Southall. The second travelled all over him, but he just dug in and found more, and he still looks a bit green. I think he's got scope to improve, and I think he'll win tomorrow.
Good stuff. Worth mentioning the Triumph trial, the opener in the card as well. Apple Shakira runs in that. She's favourite for the Triumph. Do you fancy
7-2. Yeah, Apple Shakira. Yeah, for the Triumph.
For the Triumph.
Yeah.
No, I mean, she was wildly impressive on debut. I mean, there is an argument that Richard Johnson picked the wrong ground on the second, but the way they backed her, just very close to the off, to send her off.
Striking,
and she couldn't have been more impressive. She's not much to look at, actually, unlike her sister, who's a very strong filly. She wouldn't be nearly as physical a presence as Apple Shade, but she looks like handsome is as handsome does.
Handsome is indeed. Any thoughts on that Triumph trial?
Look, she should do it. I'd be erring on the side of caution now with her to the extent of Gumball. You know, he made a mistake at a crucial point in that race. I'd like to see her go and do it again in a more comprehensive race before I make a sweeping statement and say that she is, the next Pegasus. But she is really impressive at this stage of her career, and who knows, if Espardan continues to progress, we could see her in the Mayor's Novice if they were feeling adventurous.
Any other bets on the Saturday cards for you, Brendan?
No, I was struggling to find bets, Tom. Just speaking of the Triumph, Active Valour runs in a Grade 2 juvenile hurdle in Doncaster. It looks a decent race, as you'd expect for the grade. But Paul Nicholls has mentioned him very favourably in dispatches, so it'd be interesting to see how he gets on.
Active Valour there at Doncaster. Mark, for you?
Active Valour will win at Doncaster on Saturday, I think, and I'd be very tempted to go and take that 25 to 1 now available
25.
for the Triumph Hurdle as well. This horse was pretty smart from Michael Callan, rated 97, I think. There was even talk of him going to Royal Ascot at one point after he won at Roscommon during the year. You know, he's a bit of a playboy at home, but he was genuine all the same. Jumps beautifully now. Won in spite of the ground last time. He's a smart horse, and apart from that, Moulin Avant, maybe I fancy him at Fairyhouse in the 12.35.
Good stuff. Right, let's move on to Sunday's action then. There's a cracking grade 2 at Navan at 10 to 1 on Sunday. We're probably going to see Kraken Smart, the next destination, go head to head. Probably don't have prices just yet for this.
So looking off tissue prices at the moment, you'd imagine Kraken Smart might just shave favouritism come the off time, around about 5 to 4. He's currently 10 to 1 for the Albert Bartlett in March, by the way. Around 13 to 8, 7 to 4 territory about next destination, and 6 or 7 to 1 bar. You've got Polly Ryan there, Jets as well, Delta Work, and half the odds. And just a couple of stats in this race, actually. The last 6 renewals have been won by both Willie Mullins and Gordon Elliott, and the last 2 have been won by the Jolly.
Good stuff. Kraken Smart, next destination, 2 very exciting sorts. Who would you side with, Mark?
I'd tell you Kraken Smart of the 2. I have big respect for next destination, but I'd just like to go and see him do it again. Last time it was very visually impressive, but it could have been a little bit deceiving from the point of view that Paloma Blue hasn't won since. Now, someday it was going okay when he fell, all the same, but the 4th has also been beaten since. When you have a 2nd, 3rd and 4th beaten, when you have a horse like Kraken Smart who's gone and done it at Cork in good style again, you know, will handle any ease in the ground as well. I do think he's a more solid option of the 2, but, you know, going forward, perhaps maybe next destination could be the one you'd like to have on your side come Cheltenham time. But down in the betting itself now, Delta Work is another one I wouldn't forget about going forward and later this season. Whether this is his day or not, I don't know, but we've seen the blue cap at Jigginstown carried to success on plenty of occasions before. Barry Garrett, he gets the leg up with kind of a notable booking for there. You know, he is a smart horse. He will win races this season. If any support arrive for him, I'd be quite interested.
Could be around 12 or 14 to 1, I'd say, come the off time as well.
Your thoughts on that novice hurdle at Navan, Brendan?
Very, very interesting race, very interesting betting race. I thought next destination would just be favoured, but as Shane said, one way or the other, there won't be much between the 2 of them. And I just favoured next destination because the form of the Cheltenham bumper, there were some queries about it at the back end of last year, but it's working out really well. So he's 4th in the Cheltenham bumper. He's supposed to want a trip. He's apparently been named at the Grade 1 at Nace after Christmas, apparently as well. So. Well, something has to show up to meet the phenom, doesn't it?
Yes.
So fair play to him for having a go. But I mean, he couldn't have been more impressive. It's a fair point Mark makes about the race has fallen asunder a bit, but we know he has the ability from his bumper days. He jumps well, and I would just favour him over Kraken.
Just favour him. There's a lot of racing on Sunday. Anything else jumping off the cards at you?
The 120, I couldn't help noticing Oscar Sam, whose horse I think is well handicapped, disappointed on his comeback at Thurles. He's a big unit, might have needed the run. He's got a decent class edge here. He's £10 clear at the top of the weights. 2.5 miles is probably a suboptimal trip for him, but 2.5 miles in Navan on heavy ground, endless.
Yeah.
So he'll just keep on grinding, and he might just do enough. And probably given the question marks after Thurles, probably be a fair price too.
Bit of a price as well. Mark, anything on the Sunday card for you?
Don't Kick Nor Bite is the one in the 3 o'clock for me at Navan. She's £7 lower over fences than hurdles, I think. Now that's for a reason. She doesn't jump as well over fences as she does. But Barry Garrett, he's back on board today for the first time since he won on her at Sligo. You see him winning on some of these Galileos and some of these, you know, horses that don't really want to jump fences. He's a genius at getting them to get into a rhythm. And I think that she still has a bit in hand when you look back at what she's achieved over hurdles. And aside from that, I'm heading over to Carlisle on Sunday, all been well, and please God, if we get there over the green, Derry and a Spirit, a filly I have a little bit of an interest in. Not that we're expecting any magnificent things, but hopefully she'll be thereabouts in the bumper at Carlisle at 3:15.
You'll be testing the owners and trainers' hospitality at Carlisle.
That's if I get there now, because we're currently heavy frozen in places with an inspection at 8 o'clock. I'm flying at 6:15, so we could be over in Manchester looking at the walls for the day. I don't know.
Oh dear. Shane, anything for you on Sunday?
Not just Kraken Smart for me, Tom. I think it's going to be very difficult to beat. Albeit next destination should be a worthy adversary, but I think one for your multiples, of course, for best as guaranteed on your multis between 11 and 1 in shop all weekend. And don't forget as well our late to lose offer on all the ITV races on Saturday.
Good stuff. Right, a reminder again, the biggest prize winner in the comments, there is a £100 or euros free bet courtesy of our sponsors, Ladbrokes, as well. So make sure you get those comments in and get those winners. Right, guys, time for your winning multiples this weekend, given the Ladbrokes guarantee. Those best bets and multiples. Start with you, Brendan.
Trixie this week, Tom. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's hard to get 3 winners, so 2 will do. I'll go in the 305, the new one. In the 230, Equus Secretus, and in the 155, Clanda's Oboe.
Good stuff, Mark.
We're going to clash in one of them here in the 305. I'm going to go Mellon against the new one. I'm going to go Moulin Avant in the 1235 at Fairy House, and at Doncaster in the 245 Act of Valour.
Good stuff, Shane.
Yeah, I'm with David Jennings in the Caspian Caviar Gold Cup. I think 7-2 was 6 at the start of the week, Tom, as well. So they've really come for this one. Going to be very difficult to beat in the Caspian Caviar Gold Cup. The new one as well, looking for his 4th international hurdle. Has a fantastic record, as you mentioned, in Grade 2 company, outside the top bracket of racing as well. That's sure to go off a short price. Currently 16th for the Stars as well. And finally, to make up that Trixie, it's going to be a global stage, who I know Mark is very sweet on as well, in the novices, the Albert Bartlett novices trial.
Good stuff, Brad. Well, I'm going to go with Mellon, Blow by Blow, and Stark Attack. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll be back with more What's the Word next week for a bumper Christmas special.